Is that a camera or a hand up? Is that something poking over the book? Yeah.
Have you met other people trying to adapt David Foster Wallace to the screen? And two-parter, is there a next work? Was there another work that you've thought about trying to adapt?
Of his?
Of his.
Sure. I think that...
Or bonus, if anybody else.
Bonus. Remember that essay you wrote in high school? I'm doing it, brother. I actually had, I was just talking to Bonnie about this, I had actually heard rumblings that they were doing Infinite Jest, I think over at some major cable studio, and I remember thinking, oh god, that's tough. And then I read the script, and it was tough. And it was unsuccessful. But, so I was really excited. I actually remember briefly speaking to David on the phone, and he was so generous enough to give me his blessing on the movie, which was sort of incredibly surreal. But I remember him laughing out loud when he heard that we were actually cast and that we were moving into pre-production. He was kind of like, wait a minute, what? Like, I think he had a lot of people try to get the rights to his books, but no one had actually taken it that far. So I was really, really excited about that, and then instantly terrified, because I was like, wait, why didn't anyone else do it? So that's the story about people doing other books of his. But then the only other thing that I would have ever wanted to, in my dreams, adapt is probably a supposedly fun thing I'll never do again. And the good part about that is it will never be done, because it's always better when you read it in the book. And by the way, I guarantee you, I love the movie that we did. I'm so proud of it. But in all honesty, no movie, and I knew this setting out before I started, I had to say this to myself because it's the truth, that no movie of his, including mine, will ever be anything more than a fraction of the imagination that's inspired when you read his books. And that's all I ever wanted. Pretty sure that this movie will get as polarizing reviews as other movies, but it doesn't matter, because the whole goal was just to get more people to know about, in my opinion, the greatest living writer in a long, 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 long time. I should go out on a bang. No? Anybody? No?
That was the bang.
That was the bang.
No.
He's like, get off, dude. Get off. Is Bright Eyes coming over?
Dude, we got an old essay of Dave's you can read.
Oh, man. Oh, man. I think if I'd read that last part, because I actually know it, and I wouldn't be like, hey, what's this word in the second page? But I won't do that either, unless anybody has any questions.
You know where it's playing in LA?
Where is it playing in LA? That's a good question. I think it's the Lemley Sunset 5. The landmark Sunset 5 Lemley. Bonnie's calling out showtimes. And if you have a computer in your hands, you can book it right now. OMG. Questions? No overwhelming need for me to read another story. That would be great.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
One more.
So there's a camera over there, and I was like, oh, that was embarrassing for him. Glad I got that on camera. The same dude who told me to get off now has a fake candle on his iPhone. Hey man, I'm not at a Death Cab show. Alright, I'll read this last one.
Yay.
Someone just said, oh god. No, they didn't. This one's not as funny. I don't know why I gave you that preamble. But basically one of the other things that I did in the book, actually, to get the Ben Gibbard monologue, was to break up the last interview, and this little part actually became a whole separate thing that Ben Gibbard did 10 times as good as I did. So, okay. It's not a good word, I know. It's not just, quote, sadness, the way one feels sad at a funeral or a film. More of a plummeting quality, a timelessness to it. The way light gets in winter just before dusk, or that. All right. How say at the height of lovemaking, the very height, when she's starting to come, when she's truly responding to you now, and you can see it in her face that she's starting to come, her eyes widening in that way that is both surprise and recognition, which not a woman alive can fake or feign if you really look intently at her eyes and really see her. You know what I'm talking about. That apical moment of maximum human sexual connection when you feel closest to her, with her. I mean, so much closer and realer and more ecstatic than your own coming, which always feels more like losing your grip on the person who's grabbing you to keep you from falling. Or a mere neural sneeze that's not even in the same ballpark's area code as her coming. And I know what you'll make of this, but I'll let you know anyway. But how even this moment of maximum connection and joint triumph and joy and making them start to come has this void of piercing sadness to it, of the loss of them in their eyes, and as their eyes widen to their very widest point, and then as they begin to come, begin to shut, close, the eyes do, and you feel that familiar little needle of sadness inside your exaltation as they arch and their eyes close, and you can feel that they've closed their eyes to shut you out. You've become an intruder. And their union is now with the feeling itself, the climax. That behind those drawn lids, the eyes are now rolled all the way around and staring intently inward into some void where you who sent them cannot follow. That's shit. Thank you so much, guys. And thank you for letting me be a part of that episode of the greatest opera we've had.